of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this.
Good morning and welcome to Open Air on Atlantic Television Network. Open Air is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, Atn uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and a gender-positive impact to the society. Today on Open Air, we'll look at Rivers crisis developing stories. Fubara says his administration better than predecessors. INEC says court will handle issue concerning Rivers lawmakers. Senator Abe says Wike works for federal government, not APC. Rep member asks President Tinubu to caution Governor Fubara. Group bemoans insult on legal profession by Rivers government. Do not go away. When I come back from this break, we'll delve right into the show.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usa, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently. Make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract where we be that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old since. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap am.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I supposed pay that one. You remember say me I tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
The POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
The POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It's still Open Air on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on Open Air this morning is Ugochukwu Ifanichukwu, a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. Ugochukwu.
Lady Choma, good morning. And today I call you Sister Choma because it's on a Sunday. So
Right.
welcome Nigerians, Rivers people to Open Air today. It's always good to be here on a Sunday talking Nigeria. And Sister Choma, for the sake of a Sunday, we thank God, as Nigerians will say, that it is a Sunday. And a super Sunday for that matter, because I know you are not a lover of sports, but it helps us to douse all these tensions in Nigeria.
Okay.
The federal government economic policies that have not seen the light of the day, Nigerians have not started reaping the dividends. I know that a lot of things on the pipeline. But when they're on the pipeline, we ask the government to hasten up so that we see the light at the end of the tunnel, because the hardships is brightening. Then, on the flip of the sport, today we decide a premiership, and again we have an undisputed world heavyweight boxer
Probably
today.
you will have to join the
Yes,
sports
no,
guys.
today it helps us to, especially the men in Nigeria, to douse the tension that all these political crises, everything. So to unwind, some of us will rather use the sport news to whittle down all this heat.
All right.
So
that's nice.
welcome, viewers.
All right. River State Governor Simlaye Fubara has asserted that the success of service and project delivery within his first year in office is better than the 8 years spent by some other administrations. Fubara made the assertion at Ngo Town during the inauguration of the Andoni section of the Andoni Opobo Unity Road project in Andoni local government area on Saturday. The governor explained this assertion, saying that the accomplishments were secured within 3 months that his administration had settled down to work, given the festering political crisis. This was contained in a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Nelson Chukwode. Now, Mr. Ugochukwu, I mean, this is part of the story, but when you read the entire story critically, you know, the governor also made reference to his predecessor and, you know, compared his own accomplishments within 1 year to the 8 years of governor, the FCT minister and the ex-governor of River State, Jason Wike. What do you have to say to that?
Are we talking about the governor's achievement in 3 months, as he said, or are we talking about 1 year? He is not yet 1 year in office, and there is a lot of contradiction when you look at it on the broader perspective. The governor is saying that he has had only 3 months to settle down, while in another breath, he will say there is no crisis. So is it that there is a crisis of gathering of thought, choice of words in the mind of the governor of Rivers State, Similaye Fubara, with due respect to his office. And again, when you look at it, you find out that despite the conflicting statements by him, you will also note that the governor made a very interesting statement by trying to compare himself with the past administrations, which he knows. The governor knows that he's been economical with the truth. He's been sagacious with his statements. This is not time for politicking. You're not wooing people to come and vote for you. The electioneering campaigns, as they will say, has come and gone. But you find out that the governor lately is beginning to, assert himself as someone who is already campaigning. And it is not healthy for the Rivers State polity, because going by all the things that is going on, we need a governor that is very subtle and docile in his approach to some issues. While you may want to assert yourself on the people's minds and trying to win their support, there are some statements you don't dare to make. In 3 months of active governance, according to him, in close to 1 year, few days from now, he'll be marking 1 year in office as a governor of Rivers State. I don't think that those statements are necessary, beginning to compare yourself, because when you look at what, let us take the case study, even from the Odele's administration, whom he is now hibernating with. He cannot equate himself to what Odele achieved from 1999 to 2007, that clearly positioned Rivers State as a power play, as an economic hub, as the major financier of the Nigerian economy, that even gave rise to some speculations, that he will be positioned by the former President Olusegun Obasanjo as the next president of Nigeria. And when that didn't go down, it was also the kind of drama that we saw between Atiku and Nyesom Wike, when Nyesom Wike failed to clean the PDP presidential ticket, that they wanted to make peace in Rivers State, in PDP as a party, and then they want to position Nyesom Wike as the vice president to Atiku, vice presidential candidate to Atiku, so to say. And when that didn't fly, you saw how the PDP almost started having issues because of that denial that happened to Sir Peter Odele. And we raced down to Amechi. Amechi came and focused on education and other sundry projects that Amechi did. And Amechi also played the national politics. You find out the national politics that Amechi played cumulated into the formation of APC then, and also his cross-carpeting from PDP to APC, and played a major role. He was one of the super ministers. You know what they call super ministers in the Nigeria in policy is from that acronym came as a result of the role that Amechi played and the ministerial portfolio that was assigned to him by the then President Muhammadu Buhari. And again, you find out that it was only Amechi and Fashola then that were called the super ministers. So when you race down from there, you saw the projects that Amechi did in the state and his impact in the national. You cannot take that away from him because of the rail road crisscrossing across the breadth and length of Nigeria. And then when you race from there to Rivers, to the immediate past governor of Rivers State, Chief Sir Nyesom Wike, you find out that he has a litany of projects completed by him, which the which is very glaring to the blind and even the deaf heard about it. Are you talking about some of the, when I was reading through, I saw some of the statements made by even the people that are, so to say, supporting the present governor. The person of Uche Secondus, who was a former PDP national chairman, you know, made a very glaring statement when he was commissioning a road in Harley Road in OGRA, and said that that road has not been given attention since after the colonial masters, and that Jason Wike has come and given it attention. And the type of Tambowal gave him a pat on the back, saying that this is someone who, you know, has come to account for what the people are giving him. You find out that Jason Wike touched on the life of the judiciary in Rivers State. There was a facelift on the clinic in the State House, the refurbishing of the State House. Well, all those things, yes, it's the signature projects.
Okay.
You're not even talking about the flyovers. That one, we don't even talk about it because it is what revolutionized infrastructural development in Rivers State. So for the present governor, in 1 year, you know, as far as we are concerned, the only project we have seen him doing is the, what do you call it? Is the Thanksgiving service.
Well, still speaking on the governor's projects in Rivers State.
1 year.
In 1 year. Now, Governor Fubara's first year in office anniversary program did list out a number of projects that he commissioned and he's still commissioning, and of course, projects that he's flagging off as well. So now, when you look at the program carefully, which I have with me,
yes,
about 6 projects have been commissioned by the government, will be commissioned in course of the 1 year anniversary program. And then 4 projects will also be flagged off. He has flagged off some. Now, the question is this: when you look at the income of Rivers State currently, the increased FAC allocation, and also
the increased revenue,
which the governor has come out to
acknowledge,
to say. Now, would you say that commissioning 6 projects within a space of 1 year, in view of the increased revenue to Rivers State, would you say is commensurate?
That is why I said for my earlier statement that the governor, by his statement, is you know, attracting unnecessary attention onto himself that will bring about criticism and the critiquing what he has done within this space of 1 year. Nobody is there to. The white man said that the end justifies the means. There is still a time for us to sit down and now begin to, you know, take into account what he has done and begin to do the comparisons. Because Shakespeare said that nothing is good or bad otherwise by comparison. The other governors has come and gone, have made their mark, and he is still on the road. He is still in the pipeline as far as I'm concerned. So there is no absolute need for that comparison because he's not yet done with his project and policies. It is after that that we begin to draw comparisons from 1 year of so-so person in office, another year of so-so person in office. So the governor is just overshooting his policies as far as I'm concerned. For the increased FAC revenue and allocation, because of the removal of the fuel subsidy, they have increased FAC allocation in Rivers State across board. I mean, we are talking about Rivers. Okay. And the IGR of the state has increased, according to him, from 12 billion, dancing around that. And you talk about most of the projects you are mentioning have been completed. They were not started by him. This present government of Seminary Fubara did not, which he has acknowledged. We give it to him that there is that continuity. But when there is continuity, which has posited that the government is a continuum. So when you talk about the projects that were awarded by his predecessor, and he has completed them now, and he's now using it to sing to the high heavens and drawing comparisons to the previous administrations. I think it is uncharitable for him to do that, and also it is not in his place to score himself. And I will also advise the governor, his handlers, to tarry a while. It is hasty to draw such conclusion. It is hasty to start making, to drawing, comparisons and saying who did what not. And there's also, it is not, it is not going to do him a lot of good if he starts this early morning to sing his own praise.
All right. The Independent National Electoral Commission has finally broken its silence on the controversy trailing the status of the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly that crossed from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. Commission's chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, who formally reacted to it in his remarks at the second quarterly consultative meeting with media organizations held in Abuja on Wednesday, said that the commission is waiting for the law courts to make pronouncements on their positions before taking any appropriate step. Yakubu further explained that there are 32 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly elected during the 2023 general election, emphasizing that the commission has no business with the resignation of the assembly members. Joining me on the show this morning is Emi Ferraha, a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. Emi, and welcome to Open Air.
Good morning, Choma, beautiful face, and good morning, Nigerians and all over the world, and also to the other guests. Morning to you.
All right. Now,
good morning.
What is your take on INEC's position on the status of the 27 defected lawmakers in Rivers State?
You see, I've always told people that we operate a constitutional democracy. Nigeria is a creation of law. Everything about Nigeria is about the law. The law says we shall have a country called the Federal Republic of Nigeria, right? And the law also stipulates the number of states and the number of local governments that are created in the state called Nigeria. So I wonder why sometimes we just sit back, we want to express our emotions, judging situations, even organs of government by our emotions and our feelings. So that we don't wonder, what are we doing? We want to throw the state into a state of anarchy, or we're actually trying to build a country that we can call our own. So for me, INEC is just doing the right thing, and they are, established their position. And for me, that is also my position. You see, you can't sit somewhere and adjudicate as if you were the court and begin to nullify and begin to judge, and by yourself you are enthroning. That is not what the law says. The law says 3 arms of government: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. So if there is any issue that has to do with the declaration of whatever matter, adjudication, the Constitution actually, assign that responsibility to the courts to determine certain matters. And take note, it is not all matter that the court even have jurisdiction. Issue of election of a Speaker House of Assembly, election of a Speaker House of Reps, even the Senate President, the court has no jurisdiction. It is the responsibility of the House to so elect their leader as enshrined in the Constitution. I think in Section 90 and Section 92, you find all this there. And the same Section 92, if you read down, you see where a paragraph says the removal of the Speaker shall be done by 2/3 majority of members of the House. In other words, if you are to change the Speaker that you elected earlier, there are procedures. The procedure is that the members who will remove him must be 2/3 of all the members of the House. I have not seen anything like that. Suddenly they'll be, okay, wait, Section 109, paragraph G became a popular song. I'm waiting for some of these artists to make some song from that and make some comedy from it. Automatic. Automatic, you've lost your seat. Automatic. I begin to wonder. Is automatic actually a new one?
I wanted to ask you that question. Is that section of the Constitution self-executing?
It's not self-executing. No provision of the Nigeria Constitution is self-executing. Okay. Everything ends in the court as the organ or arms of government that is so assigned that responsibility to interpret the law. Why do we catch somebody who we assume to be an armed robber, a thief, or somebody who collected something illegally, and we don't, punish the person immediately? We still go to court with the person. We call the person a suspect until the court so determined that, yes, this was actually guilty, even we call the person right-handed. But in this case, in Rivers State, everybody will become automatic. You've lost. So what is the essence of the court if it's automatic? I remember after the March 18 governorship election here, some aggrieved candidates went to court, took Sinfubara victory to the court. Why is it that Sinfubara didn't step aside? Because the law is automatic and step aside so that Rivers State will have no governor at that time. But Sinfubara was still on the seat, signing document, signing money, ruling out the orders and the rest of it, and they were obeyed because the matter was in court, and anything in court does not vitiate the position of the person until the court so nullified. And in this case, the court have no jurisdiction to even declare a seat of an elected member a vacant outside the tribunal that is empowered to do so. The court has no power to do so. But some people are just saying, hey, you must do it. It is the speaker. Is amiably or has amiably declared his own seat vacant? The answer is no. So where is the vacancy coming from? So people say this here, and I continue to correct them. This in the here has never been Speaker of Rivers State Assembly in the lifespan of Rivers State Assembly, except maybe probably in future.
Was there no order recognizing Matt Edison here as
the court,
speaker?
if you read section 92 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, yes, the law make it very explicit that the members of the House shall elect a speaker from among themselves. In other words, the court has no room to participate in the election of a speaker, right? And I remember on the 30th of October 2023, when the House of Assembly, led by Honorable Martin Amefiule, sat around 7 a.m., the House, so by the House rule in section 109 of the 1999 Constitution, as they are empowered, suspended 4 persons, which is Edison here, one of them, Victor Okumbo and Representative Boni, and some other members. 4 of them were suspended, and by the House rule, it stands. That suspension was not lifted, has never been lifted. But later the day, we now heard that Edison here and some of his colleagues who were also suspended sat, and he declared himself a speaker. You cannot declare yourself a speaker when the law is very explicit on how a speaker can emerge. So it was later on, he ran to the court for the court, to endorse his illegal speakership. And the court cannot do that. Whenever you give your order, you give your injunction, recognizing somebody as speaker, is null and void because you have no jurisdiction to so do. Then later they say, oh, by the reason of the defection, he's not the speaker. I'm not asking. Does it mean that the self-acclaimed speakership of the Edison here group in the first place were never, real? So until Honorable Martin Amefiule defected, that is when you became a speaker. So why will you continue to deceive yourself and start to deceive the people? I want to press this deception down the throat of Nigerians. And you are saying you are building a democratic society. The answer is no. You were never a speaker, because I've never read anywhere where they say, okay, that membership of the EDC here and their group, they sat after the defection of Martin Amefiule and the other 26 members, they sat and elected EDC here as a speaker. That is to say, there was never a time EDC here was made a speaker. So how come a person who is never a speaker will now assume the role of a speaker and trying to declare a seat of a fellow elected member vacant, when the law is explicit and says that it is only the speaker that can declare the seat vacant? So where is the vacancy coming from? And this is where INEC is not telling you, by records and by the eyes and lens of the law, we have 32 seat assembly in Rivers State. And by this, we only have information about one that is no more. So the other seats are not vacant until the court says otherwise. That is to say, Honorable Martin Amefiule and others are still lawful members of Rivers State House of Assembly. So that I'm now wondering where some people are saying fashioner speaker, fashioner this. So there can be fashioner maybe in Rivers State Government House, but I don't think there is faction in Rivers State House of Assembly as it stands. So INEC is very right.
All right. Now, Mr. Gochukwu, the INEC Commission said that they do not have any business with the resignation of the River State Assembly members. Now, do not forget that Edison Ehe, as at the time he declared the seats of Martin Amehule and the other 26 defectors vacant, he wrote to INEC, and so far INEC has not in any way withdrawn their certificates or even made any move to conduct elections. Now, in view of that, there are concerns in certain areas. Mr. Emi has spoken on the legality of the people, Edison Ehe. Now, let's come down to Okojombo, because Okojombo emerged as a speaker after Edison Ehe vacated. He resigned and vacated his seat. The argument in some quarters is this, that the quorum is according to the number of people recognized in the House. Now, there is also a constitutional provision that the least a state house can have is 24 seats, and the maximum is 40 seats. And in the case of 46, we have Kano State as an example of the state with the highest number of seats in the State House of Assembly. Now, recently, again, don't forget, the Okojombo faction of River State House of Assembly also had their legislative function where they screened the Attorney General of the state. What do you have to say to all this? Do you see it legal? I mean, the Okojombo faction. And yesterday, there was a meeting at the national level where speakers had to... Okojombo was the person that went in place of River State.
You know, once it is there is a political issue, and they say who plays the piper dictates the tune. It doesn't matter if Okojombo came as a representation to the on behalf of the River State House of Assembly or not. You cannot place illegality on illegality. And he knows it. No, he can. There is no. You cannot play. This is not. You see, one thing about Nigeria. Most times I say that the Nigerianness in us is what makes us Nigerians. You know, whenever it is in the negative, people will say this is Nigeria. But we are here blessed by a constitution. According to what Amy have said, the constitution is explicit, and is the supreme norm, is the supreme document that is binding to even the president of the country. He cannot act outside the constitutional jurisdiction. So whether he has gone there to represent the River State or not, Martin Amehule knows why he did not go, or maybe
probably because there was an ex parte order.
Probably because of the ex parte order. He don't want to violate the purported ex parte order, because the ex parte order you're talking about cannot subsume the existing the existing judgment given by Omotosho of the Federal High Court. You know, that is subsisting. So there is no, see, that's why all those things are shrouded in illegality. Because once if you are saying that Wale, that justice, I know, but no, it is also embroidered in this. Okay. Because you made mention now that maybe Amehule rescued himself because of the ex parte order. The ex parte order is a nullity in itself. And even Justice Wale knows it, because there is already a law, you know, subsisting before he made that proclamation. So it cannot stand the test of judicial time and terms. So if you're talking about Okojombo emerged as what? Who is Okojombo in this scheme of things happening within the House of Assembly in River State?
Is he legislating?
They're just buying time.
But they are sitting and they're legislating.
No, legislating about what? You cannot put something on nothing. and it will stand.
Is the governor not acting on the
You see, when we get to the bridge, we cross it. They know that all those things are in nullity. All those things that are happening is in nullity, and that is why we have seen a group saying why will the commissioner, the so-called commissioner for the so-screened, I don't know whether he has been sworn in, the so-screened commissioner for justice and attorney general of Rivers State present himself to an illegal house to be screened. A son, for that matter, who should know more, presented himself, and they said this is a dent on the image of the judiciary. And they recall that since after the judgment of 2023 general elections across board, especially as exemplified in the presidential tribunal cumulating into the Supreme Court, you have seen that the name of the judiciary is now sounding as a broken record in the ears of an average Nigerian. So this is the time for them to, to rescue their image. And you could see the big hammer that has fallen on one of the justices of the nation, that he has been suspended. Two of them apparently have been suspended. So the judiciary is purging herself of those illegalities and those conflicting cases being turned out from the so-called Temple of Justice. When you return back to what is happening in Rivers State, you find out that the Martin Samehule led Rivers State House Assembly is legal. Like we have it on a good authority this morning. Maybe before the day breaks, it will come to the knowledge of the world that INEC has acknowledged a letter from them. We are speaking about INEC and trying to say that they are not aware of any resignation or any vacancy in the seats of the 33. They have no business because electioneering time has gone. They are a product of an act, attached to the Constitution of Nigeria to see that elections are conducted, and that is their job. They have done their job. Any other thing goes to the judiciary. The judiciary is there to interpret who is right or wrong. We have it on a good authority now that they have acknowledged a letter from Martin Samehule-led assembly, as the speaker of the Rivers State Assembly, declaring the seat of the deceased member vacant. That is the only seat we know that INEC has acknowledged as being vacant. He has written to them officially, and they have acknowledged it. INEC have not told us that they acknowledge the purported letter Edison here wrote to INEC, purportedly stating that the seats of 27 or 25 members of the House of Assembly have been declared vacant. They have not made it known to us. We have not received any correspondence from INEC, so to say, regarding that particular letter. We only hear it from the government side of the media.
All right.
So when you return back and say that those people are illegal, the legality stands this way, that the House sat and suspended 4 members. The House sat and suspended some members. They didn't declare their seats vacant. If Amehule has made a proclamation of declaring the seats of those four people vacant, that's the end of them. Because he is the only person as the speaker who is authorized.
Their seats vacant if they actually.
That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. So what stands now is that they stand suspended.
All right.
They stand suspended, and once you are suspended, time frame to represent your constituents, to join in making laws or presenting a bill in the House, or even voting at that material time. So for all we know, until that particular issue of suspension is resolved, both Edison here, who quickly resigned, both Okojombo stand as whatever they are doing is predicated upon that the illegality or otherwise of their suspension from the House.
All right. Ms. Hemi, you have something to say?
Yes, I think there is something I just want to contribute. Let's even assume that the Section 109, paragraph G, is something that the Honorable Martin Amehule and his other members, are falling short of. Is it the responsibility of Rivers State government? Is it the responsibility of Edisehie, Oko Jumbo, and the rest of them to so implement whatever decision without the court making a pronouncement? What do I mean by this? Currently, a budget was purported to have been submitted and passed. We also had about screening of some persons, as nominated to be commissioner.
By suspended section of the House.
So if we go by this, does it not mean that, or does that not state that the Oko Jumbo, Edisehie, and the Rivers State government are actually usurping the powers of the court? Is it not what we are trying to say? Is it not what we are saying right now? Because the court is here to make pronouncement. And here, they are yet to be passed. But currently, the government is expending money not approved. Because there is no laid-down budget before the Honorable Martin Amefule right now. But we are seeing money be expended. We are seeing some persons be screened. I really want to challenge the Nigeria court. If we don't start to discipline some persons, I don't think any of us is safe. Because when the crisis, shall arise, even the judiciary will not be saved. The judiciary will not be saved. Because the crisis may cut our law. We can't have a situation where some people will assume the power of other arms of government or assume to become overlords. And we have a law and want this thing, to thrive in our society. That is why I'm also appealing to the federal government that in case the law that is passed, the Rivers State amended law, is now a law, an operating law, extending the tenure of local government chairmen in case the governor fails to conduct an election in line with Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution, it states that law remains operational. In case the governor decides to disdainfully disregard the same law and disregard Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution, I'm advocating and appealing to federal government that whatever that needed to be done, number one, is to withhold the funds of any local government that is run by caretakers. Just like the governor of Rivers State have withheld some funds meant for some local government in Rivers State because there is a joint account. In the name of the local government chairman are failing to comply with certain rules or directives as according to their own words. So the government of Nigeria has sworn and has sworn to by the president that it will protect, defend the Constitution of Federal Republic. And this is the time, to see that thing come into play, that you will defend the Constitution and not by political vote, chopping for political votes or for any interest, but stand with the law and let us see how we can curtail some of this impunity where we are now building emperors in the name of governors, and this will never help the Nigeria states.
All right. Choma, the wrong precedents are being set in Nigeria. Because we also have litany of people defecting. There is a lot of illegality. There is a lot of political nonchalance, constitutional nonchalancy in Nigeria. And that is why in Rivers State, you could see a governor or somebody who is sitting somewhere that we don't know, who was not even elected by members of the House, by 2/3 majority of the House, sitting somewhere and making pronouncements by fiat in a state that is being governed by Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Rivers State cannot exist in isolation. In isolation, I mean in running contrary of what the Constitution stipulates. Because if you allow that to fester, they said when an evil is allowed to fester for a long time for the development and for the progress of Rivers State, it is a pity. It is a pity that the governor could be making some statements by fiat, and the Oko Jumbo and Edison, faction Of course, as far as I know, there are no factions does not exist in the Rivers State House Assembly because they were, according to the rules of the House, 4 members were suspended.
Okay.
So when you go by it, you find out that this, proclamation by fiat, overriding the constitutional provisions. Because all these things, I continue to say it. You saw what came up, Choma, after the elections in Nigeria, especially in regards to the presidential elections. People were saying 25% this, 25% FCT, this and that. We waited. We went through the courts, and it's gotten to the Supreme Court. So most of those interpretations of what we are seeing now, we end up in the Supreme Court for we to get the clarity and where the position of the Constitution lies. Because this section 109G has been overflowed. Okay. But people are not looking at the roots of that particular problem, what elicited the problem, and what was the position of these 4 members hitherto to all this crisis coming up.
A prominent figure within the All Progressive Congress, Senator Magnus Abe, characterized the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, as a significant presence in President Bola Tinubu's administration. Despite this acknowledgement, Abe clarified that the former Rivers State Governor is not a member of APC. During an appearance on an interview with pressmen, Abe reminisced about his efforts to persuade Wike to align with President Tinubu. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Emi. There has been concerns around PDP man. He's working for an APC-led federal government. And I have always asked questions around inclusivity of governance. After the elections, it's time for governance. Now, in light of governance, do you see anything wrong with the FCT minister working for the APC-led government?
Question, and I want to ask you one question so that I will begin from there.
Rhetorical question, correct?
No, I hope you will answer. It's just a simple question. If you were to address Bola Ahmed Tinubu today, how do you address him?
His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Hands of applause to you. You've done well. You see, we didn't say His Excellency, the President of APC. But we address him as His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, right?
Yes.
And in this Nigeria, we have several political parties because we operate what we call multi-party system, right? So PDP is one of the parties that exists in Nigeria, isn't it? So what is wrong if a president says, come and work with me. I have an assignment for you, and you work as a Nigerian. What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong. So as long as the person is a Nigerian, it was screened and endorsed by the National Assembly as qualified, to hold that position. So I don't see there is anything wrong. We always have naysayers. Naysayers who are always chopping for division in the Nigeria state. Naysayers who always want everything to go on the negative line. Naysayers who will want problem, crisis here and there because that is what they use in promoting their nefarious political interests and agendas. But I think in this case, the naysayer will continue, to have their dance in the market square while we'll be watching and laughing. Because if there is nothing that offends the law, it means everything that is done is legitimate, is lawful. So there is nothing wrong. As for what Ibe says about a fellow politician, I think they are all birds of same feathers. Politician, birds of same feather I meant about is them, being politicians from River State who are always pursuing their interests, are always trying to align and realign. So they will always speak good of themselves. After all, even in Nigeria, a person may be living. We say all manner of things about the person. He's a devil, he's a demon, he's that, he's unhealthy, he's this. Oh, the person is human, the person is the body. Immediately that same person dies. Nigerians will begin to see euphorias of that. Hey, he's a good man. He was a good man. She was a good woman. A very nice person. nice to be with. Oh, we miss him. We miss her. In fact, we are missing her already. The same person we have been castigating. Suddenly we begin to miss the person. So that is all. We always, sing praises just because it suits our sentiments. So I see nothing wrong there.
All right. Over to you, Mr. Ugochukwu. What do you make of the statements by Senator Magnus Abe?
If, for Senator Magnus Abe to be singing the praises of the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, with the tone of tenor part of a choir now, is really amazing, and is baffling me. I'm trying to wrap my mind about it. Like Amy have said, these are politicians. They know how to, walk into the minds of the people they think that can position them for a particular office they are, longing for. Because I've not had Magnus Abe speak glowingly of the city minister.
What are your reservations?
My reservations is that Magnus Abe is a politician, with all due respect to him, distinguished Senator Magnus Abe is a politician that is one of the traditional Nigerian politicians, as I always call them, who goes for personal interest, where his interest lies. He doesn't care about your interest, about the interests of those that are around him. He only wants, wherever the comb is, that's where you see the honey, and because the bees have gathered to produce that comb. So for him to make that statement is not far from what I was saying in our earlier discussion about this says singing of the praises of the former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, now that Magnus Abe has started learning the choruses now. He's not in any way, and is not in any way delighting me. You know why? We have had a lot of people. The former governor of Sokoto State, in the person of Alhaji Tambowal, came to Rivers State prior to the 2019 election and all whatnot, sang the praises of Nyesom Wike. We saw it. Nyesom Wike, bridge builder, has broken the genes across the nation. He's a political bulldozer and all that. At the end of the day, he betrayed Wike. We had the secondus of this world who came around, singing the praises of Wike, that even some of the roads and some of the infrastructural developments that Wike did in Rivers State, that after the colonial masters, that nobody had even looked that way. At the end of the day, what happened? He betrayed Wike. We have had the likes of, what do you call it, the present governor of Edo State, when he knows the people that will tell him A in the morning, when he comes up in the evening, their A with their A. Let's not forget the governor of Rivers State, who worked with Wike for 8 years, and whom Wike positioned. And I know that as a man, the heart of a man is where all things lies. You cannot read it. But given the countenance and the body language of Fubara, I mean, just within a little time, he has jettisoned all that they had together, all the whining and dining of that. So Wike has been, whatever they are saying now is toughening Wike. Wike is just the invasion of Rafa now. Is because the people who helped Netanyahu to form his government are telling him that go and no matter what the US is saying, whatever any other person is saying, because he knows that without the alliance of these people, he will not come to power. So when they see it, those who watch them, when they see other commissions that are federally related, they are people of diverse political parties who has formed friendship over time with the president and who have found favor in the president irrespective of party affiliation. And this is also these same Nigerians that we call on the president. Immediately somebody wins the election, they say, go over party lines and appoint technocrats. It is same Nigerians. It is same Nigerians, but if I have told you here, I've said it on different forums, that if going by achievements and what they have achieved as governors, this is Nyesom Wike and Dave Umahi, are the people whose signature projects and impacts in their states is alarming and overwhelming, that people will say and say, come and work for me. If Nigerian governance is being given by your product, the product of what you have is the president of the Nigeria should have been between Nyesom Wike and David Umahi. Okay. And again, don't forget that you have somebody in the north. You have somebody in the north in the person of Zulum. Zulum is now working and positioning himself. Okay. So if a PDP government comes, or if Labour Party government comes, or an MPP government comes and decides to pick him on competence, will Nigerians complain? Right. So this is where I leave it for those minds, those people that always look for loopholes to talk down on people, that Nyesom Wike is qualified. Nyesom Wike is, even from his antecedents in 1 year in office now, he's not failing the has positioned him to be the FCT minister.
All right. Reps member asked President Tinubu to caution Governor Fubara. Do not go away. When we come back from this break, we'll look at the story.
Get ready! As Morrison Communications Limited proudly presents Children's Day Celebration 2024 at
La Small Hotel and Resorts, number 9, Rumukalagbo off Waterlines, Pastor, Port Harcourt.
On Saturday, May 25th, starting at 8 a.m. Inter-school march past competition,
dance competition, drama competition. Parents, teachers and children at day cake. Admission is just 2,000 naira per child. For participation and sponsorship opportunities, call us now. 0806 673 8689
and 0810 634 1777.
This event is proudly sponsored by the Last Mall Hotel and Resort with Atlantic Television Network and 99.5 Wish FM Port Harcourt, Lesuka Event Center, Gate Place Hotel, 8 Ball Hotel and Lounge, Oma Studio, Osgia Table Water.
Remember that every child is unique. See you there. This event is managed by Pace Expressions Arts.
Special guest appearance, Hilda Dokubo, Children's Day Celebration 2024.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Guy, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want to send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
You're electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't you don't behave like tea, all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Two lights. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what now? You for come out for home my motor. I bet you identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
I greet you.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth. The oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 50,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 50,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 50,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 50,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It's still Open Air on Atlantic Television Network. Solomon Bob, a member of the House of Representatives, has asked President Bola Tinubu to caution Governor Similaye Fubara, Governor of Rivers State. In a statement issued on Friday, Bob, who represents Abua, Udwal and Ahoda East Federal Constituency of Rivers State, claimed that Governor Fubara has committed several impeachable offenses and is operating without respect for the rule of law. The legislator said Fubara is running the government without a legally passed appropriation bill. Bob said Fubara did not respect the peace accord facilitated by Tinubu between him and Nyesom Wike, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Now, let me get your take on this, Mr. Emi. What do you have to say to that?
Plenty things to say, but I will try to minimize because of want of time.
All right.
First, the issue of a peace accord is discretional, you know. Mm-hmm. It's a kind of advice which is, you know, allowed by the legal system. That is what we call out of court settlement in the local parlance that is very common with us. We say, this matter, let's take it out of the court and see how we can, you know, solve this thing. That was what President Tinubu did, was to provide that political leadership, you know, to intervene in the crisis of in Rivers State, the unnecessary crisis, I mean to say. So, for me, I think it's not left for the participants to either, you know, heed to those advice or decide to jettison them. So, when you heed to the advice, I think the blessings will also come. The blessings will be that there will be peace And where there is peace, then development can thrive. But if you decide, to disregard the advice, what then happens? The consequences might also come. And when it comes, you blame no one. So it's not left for him. I don't blame Sifubara for not, implementing them in full. Because for me, it's just a kind of advice that were given to him. So he has the right to either, accept the advice and work with it, or disregard the advice and face the consequences when it comes. So that is a matter of choice. Then on the area of illegality, I will want to agree with Honorable Bob. I want to agree with him because the law stipulates what actions are prohibited, what actions are accepted, what actions are lawful, and the kind of action that are unlawful within the confine of the Nigeria state. When you are to operate a kind of money in Nigeria as a governor or government, the law stipulates the processes to which you have access to the public funds. And the access is that you must present an appropriation bill to a legally constituted and lawfully recognized an assembly. And that is where you go until that money is endorsed for you to expend. That is the only way it becomes lawful in terms of expenditure. But when the budget is still with the assembly, the law also allows you to spend certain percentage of the money you actually budgeted in the appropriation bill that is lying before the assembly, and it must not surpass the sum of the previous budget. But in this case, there is no budget appropriation bill, lying before the Rivers State House of Assembly that allows Governor Simfubara to be expending Rivers State money in tithes given in whatever project, road building that is doing. So for me, that is a sign of illegality, number one. Then number two, Governor Simfubara is a product of the 1999 Constitution. So also, the legally elected members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. But it's very abhorring, very, surprised that we had a governor who is elected by the law making reference to another arm of government with disdainful and disregard comment saying that I allow them to stay. Are you the Constitution of Nigeria? Are you above the law that is now within your wishes and desire to allow an arm of government to stay or not? So what are we saying here? That is a sign of disrespect to the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and to his office and to the legislative arm of government. It's not in your place to recognize or to de-recognize any member. It is the responsibility of a tribunal to sack. And in this case, tribunal have endorsed, appeal court have endorsed. So you as a governor, you have no legal powers, no right, it also was ever form of disguise, to say that you allow an assembly member to function. You allow an assembly to function. You allow them to be there. Who are you? Are you bigger than the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that cannot even utter such comment? So for me, that is another illegality. Illegality number three, that I think that are also impeachable offense in line with section 188. I think when the governor make reference to some people who say those who call themselves elected chairmen, those who call themselves chairmen, do you mean that the law that allows election into the office of the local councils in section 7 and by the laws of the states, that these people were elected whether by hook or by crook or whatever means, as long as RISEC declared them, it means they are now in line with the provision of the Constitution and the operating law of the state, and you refer to them as those who call themselves chairman. They have few days to leave, meaning you're already drumming up a kind of agitation. You are drumming up a kind of will to undermine the provision of the law, that later on they will leave and you appoint some persons that the law prohibited never to mind the affairs of the local government. You refer to those who call themselves a local government church to mind their days is few, they will soon leave. So what are you trying to? So these are all impeachable offense, because if you follow what the law recommends or define as crime for impeachment when it called great violation of the provision of the Constitution and any other matter that the assembly consider to be gross misconduct. In other words, good money, the assembly can say it's a gross misconduct, an impeachable offense. So if the good money does not appeal to their conscience, they can just wake up one day and say, no, you gave a 1 million naira to so person. For us, it's gross misconduct and it's impeachable offense, and they will impeach you. But you refer to those people as, no. I think for me, Governor Simfubara need to be cautioned a little bit. And those who advise him, I always told people, particularly the governor, with all a sense of respect, and appeal to him. There are 3 sets of persons. You might bring them close to you in a political society, but you don't make them an integral part of your advisors or kitchen cabinet. Number 1, the melancholic. They will always think, speak to you, work with you, and advise you based on the political grievance and anger in their minds. They are not necessarily your supporters. They don't really love you. But what runs their mind is that, oh, this person did this to us the other time. As long as this person is fighting, so we'll join this person now and manipulate this person to fight him. Their own is how to settle down their political scores, using you as a tool. So if you are not careful, you fall a prey, and they use you. At the end, they will come after you again, calling you a woman or whatever. You must be careful. Then the other one is the belly system. Those who are governed by their stomach. They are called the transactional politicians. They will only advise you based on the benefits they are looking at that they can get from you. So they don't look at your good. They don't look at how your seat can be sustained. All they are after is how they can praise you, manipulate you into getting these political benefits, and at the end you're your own, or until another higher bidder, your higher money offer comes, and they dump you and shift ground. Don't forget, somebody was praised around the country as Mr. Project, the better governor. Yes. They this, they that. The same people who were praising that person yesterday, shouting all over the media, the best governor in Nigeria, the Mr. Project. Every local government you go to, you see Project. River State is flooded with Project. There is no place you can pass through. All River State are turned to Project site. Today they are telling you that that man is evil. That man is that. Why? Because they believe that the man who sacrificed to ensure that you become a governor offended them politically, and today that man is not the enemy. You are not the better governor. Why? Because they felt that the red biro is not with you, that you can actually sign certain money, sign certain project, appoint them as caretaker, appoint them to whatever, and they become beneficiary of the system without minding if you will lose the seat or not. Then the last one that I will talk about is people of emotions. People of emotions are governed by what runs through their mind, just how they think it. They don't look at facts. They don't look at the nitty-gritty of matters. What they do, oh, say Shawa now, automatic, you are gone. Oh, go, he's leaving. Oh, he's no longer. Get out. He's this here now, Kumbo. Oh, you are. Oh, destroy, bring that the assembly complex, bring that this, because they felt that that is what their emotions, tells them to do. So when you make these people the integral member of your kitchen cabinet or your advisor, just be aware or be prepared that you are running aground. Just like today, Governor Simfubara is now running against the Nigeria Constitution that made him governor, thinking that he's fighting Honorable Martin Amefule. You are not fighting Martin Amefule, because that group seems to be more politically intelligent. They have not pitching you with the law of the land. And when it comes to worst, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Nigeria government, will pitch their tent with the law. At that time, people will know, oh, president are taking side. Why will they not do this? Not knowing that, yes, those other persons understand the position you're occupying and understand the laws, and they are not pitching you with the law, and you are jumping thinking you can do with strength and might or power. It is not by might, it is what the law says. So you must be careful. You must be very, very, very careful. And the governor should be called to order by those who think well, those who have the minds of neutrality, and those who think and look things very deep and weigh them from both sides. Those people should come and advise the governor, because he's running faster against the Nigeria Constitution, which I know will never, never favor him, because the law will come and the hammer will come so heavily. Today you are spending money. money that is not properly appropriated and endorsed for you. Today you are preparing to run a caretaker government, right? Because other governors have been doing it. Today you are disrespecting every other institution, arms of government, because you feel you are the executive. You feel you are controlling the joint allocation that is meant for the state and the local government. So therefore, you can unilaterally seize and withhold funds and, regard to elected local government chairmen as them who call themselves chairmen. You withhold fund and all that, forgetting that there's what they call FAC, a consolidated account, where the president also can control, right? So by the time those hammer that you are waving now is used against you, nobody should cry for, oh, he has taken side. They are taking side against Rivers people. Now, Rivers people should be conscious of their actions, because there is a way the state will born. Now we have a law that says if you fail to comply with Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the governor must extend the tenure of the incumbent chairman until an election is conducted. But you say, no, you have had your own assembly from government house. You now have your own attorney general. Outside the law, you are not making up your own structure, making up whatever, and you think that you will capitalize or leverage on those structure and then, promoting legality. And by the time those chairmen say this is the operating law, we are not living, and you will think you will manipulate, you will bring out the arsenals of the state. Don't forget, those arsenals of the state, you are hoping on the police, the army, and they are controlled from a center, and that center might say this is the law, and the law says toss, and he abides. So I think the governor must walk himself back to the right track. For now, is running on a very fast lane, and the fast lane is on the wrong part of the Nigeria Constitution, and I think the president cannot give him orders, just like Rivers State, where governor can stand up and caution and even suspend elected chairman and the rest of it. The Constitution made it very clear, three levels of government. The first tier of government, the federal government, the state government, and the local government, all are equal, except by the power that is assigned to each of these tiers of government by the Constitution. Outside this, all of them are equal. The governor cannot direct the local government chairman on what to do. The president cannot direct the state governor on what to do. But he can only advise, which the president has done. But some Rivers people turn it into a means to insulting the president, that the president is an authoritarian, giving instruction to governor what to do, forgetting that what was done was a political intervention in order for peace to reign. So I would even ask the president not to even say anything about Rivers State, whatever self-induced crisis. Let them carry the cross until they have completely disobeyed the law. Then the big hammer should come and hit whatsoever who is against the laws of the land.
All right.
That is where I stand.
Okay, Mr. Kochukwu, what do you have to say to Honorable Solomon asking the president to call Governor Fubara to order?
Amy has totally taken me off the feet and, moved, seriously deeper into what is playing in the minds of Solomon Bob. Because I was very happy when I heard him. 2 weeks ago, I stated here that for the National House of Assembly to even talk about taking over the proceedings that happens within the Rivers State House of Assembly, is the motion will be, will emanate from a member of the House of Representatives or a senator from Rivers State, because there was one northern senator who was speaking about the Rivers State political crisis, so to say. I told you that he may just be speaking about it in the person, but for it to take root and for it to be adhered to, it must be a motion of a national importance or urgency, drawing the attention of the House to what is happening in Rivers State. And we have not seen it play out from any member here. So we are still managing ourselves. It is not yet a crisis that have overwhelmed the political elites and the leaders and lovers of peace in Rivers State. Like lately, you have seen that the FCT minister has been very quiet. The Amefle-led group has been very quiet and subtle. So, which will tell you that, politics is played on the ground. Because once you are voicing out, once you are saying things, your opponent will be lying in wait to use that as a comeback on you. But if you keep quiet, nobody knows what is playing in your minds. So I think the nature that the FCT minister has assumed now, the nature that his handlers and followers have assumed now is very appealing to me. I think that's the way to go. Then Honorable Bob is just, raising an alarm or concern as a citizen of Rivers State and as a stakeholder in the polity and what happens around Rivers State. He's not wrong, but I don't think these issues, as the governor will say, Simlaye Fubara, he said that there is no crisis in Rivers State. These political gimmicks has not overwhelmed Nyesom Wike and his camp. And I'm sure it has not also overwhelmed the governor in their camp. All of them have so many things on their sleeves, and we can see it playing out. So they are only playing a chess game, just like what happens between Israelis and the Palestinians before. When there is a crisis, this one will go and punch this person, the other person will go for retaliation. So it has not overwhelmed. And I also take exception to the calling in of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu into this impasse again by the rep, Bob. The president weighed in and they was seen as that he's siding one party, even by the call by the elder statesman of and the Niger Delta PANDEF chairman, Pa Edwin Clark, who made his position known that the president have taken sides. And a lot of people, read different meanings into it. We don't deal on sentiment. You don't go by objectivism. You go by subjectivism. Look at it in your own personal understanding and say, what is in this? I mean, the 8-point agenda. Who is the greatest beneficiary, so to say, of that agenda? So if Bob is calling the president to come in now, I think it is for me, I will say the president should continue to look at them, let the power play, and let the intricacies be playing out until when they get to the point of no return. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is still a constitutional issue. And that is why you see none of the parties, they are not being assertive, because the interpretation might go either way. So all of them now are still on the same equilibrium. Both the Martin Amehule-led camp and the governor Simlaye Fubara's camp are still lying in wait, because a lot of things will be unveiled. I only ask the judiciary to expedite actions, because most of those cases and litigations are lying in different courts. The courts should start making pronouncements so that the cases will be moved to higher courts. And let's see to the end of it. But if you say that any little thing, they will call the president in. In Nigeria, they build human institutions and not government functional institutions. When you look at it subjectively, you find out that both camps, have their cases and they have weighed it. So they will move to the court, let the court determine their fate, and let us move on from there. But if the courts cannot do it, the federal government should weigh in through the National Assembly, and not the presidency again. Because if the president weighs in now, they say, because you could hear the governor yesterday that they are working in line with the President with the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, giving hope to the people. The faction of Nyesom Wike will come and they say that the president this and that. So the president should not be drawn in the midst. It's not the Nigerian constitution. Hence, his political, goodwill has been misinterpreted. He should stay aloof. I like what Julian Gerard has been saying of late, that the president will not take sides.
Okay.
So we should stand on that and wait for the courts, and the constitution to take their stand, and we know where we are.
All right. Ms. Emi, before we enter into the last lap of this conversation, I want to know what your thoughts are on the statement by Governor Fubara that his administration is better than his predecessors.
To measure the performance of our administration, first, there are key factors you must look at. The money available compared to the previous administration, then the level of expenditure, on whom, what area are this money spending, be expended on. And to also, you now look at it from the angle of the standard of living, because everything about government has to do with the people. And we talk about development, you are talking about the people. That is why you see Section 14, say, purpose of government shall be what? Security and welfare of the people. So outside the security, so the welfare encompasses so many things. It has to do with the education, the agricultural sector, the industry, the electricity sector, and the rest of it, including the flyover sector. So all of this you must...
Okay, we have flyover sector now. Like Okorocha got
we are making
Ministry of Happiness.
We are making comparison here.
Nigeria.
We are making comparison
Yes.
here. So that is why I just bring
No,
in that.
you're
so
in
now, judging the Nigeria economy, there are three sectors that are considered as the nucleus of the economy. One, you talk about agriculture, right? The question is, what has the government of Governor Sifubara done with respect of agriculture that can be used to elevate it above the previous administration?
They're in the pipeline.
I have not seen anything, which is zero, right?
Okay.
Then the other fulcrum of our economy is what I talk about, the electricity, or talk about the industry. What and what can we put in place today that suggests that the Rivers State government have attracted investors to invest in any of the industries that actually increase or that will lead to the increment of IGR of the state? Is there any that we can point at and say, yes, this one is doing better than the former administration? The answer is none. Then if we now come to the service sector, what and what today has the government of Rivers State, led by Governor Simfubara, introduced into the service sector that are helped to drive the service sector into an era where we say, yes, it is not creating jobs, it is not creating opportunities, it is not driving the economy of Rivers State? Is there any? So in what ways are you actually better than the previous administration in terms of performance?
In civil service?
If I remember, civil service, what actually have you done? Promotion of civil servants.
100,000 naira.
100,000 naira given to few persons.
Don't forget the carpet?
I am not sweeping now. Let's come. I'm coming. We are comparing two things here, right? The previous administration is from the background of the law. The man who headed the administration is from a background of the law.
Yes.
Right? We saw what he did with the judiciary. Building quarters for them, giving them monies, cars, name them, a lot of them. Isn't it? That is his own constituency. Now, Governor Sifubara has come. He now gave 100,000 naira to civil servants. Has he built any quarter? Has he given them anything more than the 100,000 he gave to them?
Promotion.
Okay, he promoted them. The same thing we saw in the judiciary where the previous administration was in place. So in what ways
he gave them money on the celebration
can we compare that this one has done better? So if you see, issue of you gave civil servant, the other one gave to judiciary, 1-1.
Everybody representing their constituency.
1-1. So in what ways are you actually better? Yes, kudos to you that they have announced that IGR have increased. I applaud them. It's a nice thing. We need to increase our IGR. But the question Emi Firaga is asking is this: through what means have you actually increased the IGR? Is it just by collection? Because I've not seen new company. I've not seen any investment. I've not seen anything that is driven by Rivers State government today that we can boast of that through this one we're increasing our IGR. So it's all about the taxes, multiple taxation that is actually chasing away more investors. People are now running away. I went to Trust, in fact, every time I visit Trasamadi, I weep. Every time I go to that on air around that Eleme junction, if you're going like the Bible say, Jesus wept, I weep. So if you look around, you will just see people, businesses are living and all that. It means that if IGR is increasing, one, I talk about maybe certain leakages have been blocked. That is why we now have certain money that were not coming forth before and now coming. But in the real sense of IGR increment and development, are we really having this increment from the point of development? The answer is no. So what are we boasting? The former administration boasted about flyovers, 12, one, although we now have somebody who said if he did it, they didn't they, because in Lagos they are counting over 1,000, right? But that one boasted about one, flyover 2, flyover 3, flyover 3, until Rivers people are now flying over. We are walking and flying. Currently, you are completing part of some of the roads that have been, initiated before. So what exactly have you done that we can say have outweighed the performance of the previous administration? It's all about roads. People should be ashamed. We should be ashamed in the sense that in the South State, we shouldn't be talking about road construction. These are the rights of the people. It is my right to drive on good roads because the money is given to that effect. All the money that are coming for FAC, all this money are meant for the development of the states, right? So road is one of the welfare of the people. So it's my right to drive on good roads. It's my right to have good hospital. It's my right to have good school, good education. But we are not seeing this thing. It's a shame that Niger, South State are boasting of road. Where subsidy have been removed, you now have more money. You are telling me about road, so you are blabbing, you are performing. In Lagos State, they are talking about blue line. They are talking about red line. They now have commodity exchange. Lagos State have commodity exchange. Edo State here that has one of the least state that is receiving IGR or whatever money from the FAC. Edo State is talking about electricity market. They already have a law for electricity market, meaning they are now preparing to have their own electricity run by the state. Where is the one of Rivers State? Edo State today is boasting of 2 modular refineries. Build a partnership with the Edo State government and some Chinese company. 2 modular refineries. Where is the one of Rivers State? It's on the pipeline. We shall come, we shall not come. These are the things, and we are boasting of completing a road and say we are performing. It's a shame. Go to Yobe State and see what the governor is doing in terms of education and health facilities. We are here talking about completion of one road and this other road. Therefore, performing this. We should be so ashamed of those things that we are doing. Do you know the billions of naira? How much is Yobe State receiving? Rivers State government can confidently, with due respect to Yobe State people, Rivers State government can confidently pay the workers of Yobe State added to Rivers State civil service workforce. And have change. And have money, not just change, money left. But go and see what they are doing there. And here we are boasting. Oh, we have completed road. We have done this. And therefore, performing better than the previous administration of us to be burying our heads and faces in shame that we are actually doing tithes given. While other states are doing a development project, we are busy thanking God for Supreme Court victory, for this victory over 3 months. We are still thanking God. While other states are praising God, are thanking God that this rail project has been completed. They are thanking God that in the health sector, so number of hospitals like in Yobe State have been completed in each ward and each unit. This is what they are doing. They are thanking God and praising Allah for it. We are thanking God for Supreme Court victory. And spending money, and at the end of the day we are boasting that we are performing previous administration. In what area? Please, I am appealing to the governor, please come and convince me with facts. Let me see. Road, anytime I see a government boasting that we have built this road, we have done this, sometimes we just ask, what era are we? Are we still in the Stone Age? How many administration have we seen in Lagos, for an instance, where you see the euphoria of road construction? You see governors, you see people coming from place to commission 1 kilometer road. David Umahi commissioned 30-kilometer road project. We didn't see president, governor, former this, informal this, former this, social this coming to commission, to cut ribbon. We only saw roads springing up and the rest of it. So, Governor Sifubara, I will appeal, please come and convince me.
Now, when you talk about Governor Fubara convincing you and you're still asking what areas of governance, now, there have been arguments on human capital development. And a lot of people say that, you know, different administrations, different areas of performance. And in the case of Governor Fubara, perhaps why Rivers people are not seeing so much of these projects that you're talking about is because he's concentrated more on human capital development. What do you have to say to that? What are your indices for judging human capital development?
That is what I actually wanted to ask you. Thank God you've asked me. So it's not left for me now to talk, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You see, when we talk about human capital development, we are talking about production. We are talking about making somebody to be productive and not to be a liability to state government and to himself and to his family. So when we say governor is concentrating on human capital development, then I ask, what training, what form of program has been organized to ensure that the capital ability or capacity of Rivers people have been boosted through such a program? Is there any? Yes, giving money to SMEs in terms of loan or grant is good. It will help, you know, to boost the economy of the individual and in the long run, the economy of the states, right? If you give money to some persons, kudos, that's very good. But is that capital development? Is that capital development? To what extent? Even if we are to accept that it's a capital development, to what extent would that be? So for me, concentrating on capital development, in what ways? I have not seen any that the governor is concentrating. You gave 100,000 to civil servant, you say capital development? You gave, and we are talking about the civil servant taking that 100,000 naira to the market, right? Mm-hmm. Agriculture is on the concurrent legislative list. Item 18, if you go there, you see, that is where we have agriculture. And by the Land Use Act, the issue of lands are left under the control of the governor in the urban area, while in the rural area is the local government chairman. So in what ways have we seen that we have one agricultural scheme driven, introduced, sponsored or championed by Rivers State government that will boost food supply? You give 100,000 naira. The person goes to the market to sit and be awaiting the rice that will come from Sokoto, awaiting the rice that will come from Jigawa, or even the potato, the yam, the garri that will come from Edo, Ondo State, or Ebonyi, Benue State. And you say you are a governor, you are boosting the economy of the through what means? You have not done these persons any good at all. But if you can form some kind of cluster where people form themselves and govern themselves, because there is an available loan that will encourage and drive agriculture, go back to the land, till the land, this is money that is available for you. So when you go to the market, there is already agriculture made by Rivers State. Today we have Lagos, they have rice. So we have some states that now have rice. Even at a time where rice was very expensive, we have what they call the lake rice. Lake rice, LA for Lagos, KE for KB. Do we have any with the vast land, the Lily and the rest of, do we have anything in such a manner? We don't have. Fish here, we are living in rivers where we should be eating fish, right? But right now, for me to eat fish, I will need to budget for fish. Yes, I need to budget for fish because fish are very expensive. We are living in river, but soap, we are filling our eyes. We have no fish trawler. We have nothing. And you are telling me about human capital development. I'm not seeing any. So those who are saying it's concentrating for political reasons, they might be seen through the spiritual eyes. But I live in the physical world. Until you make it physical, I might not see. But if you make it spiritual something, so you go and see the spiritual realm until you come to the physical. So I'm not seeing Governor Simfubara concentrating on any human capital development. I'm only seeing him concentrating on political propaganda and a political project or political human capital, the spiritual human capital development, until they are brought to the physical, then only I will say yes, it's concentrating on human capital development.
All right. What do you wanted to say something?
Yes, Choba, you know that MFA said that he has not seen the human capital development. Let me give him one.
You
or
mean
add, maybe to add to for the one he saw about the loan, which you asked rhetorically if it has been fully activated. I said it has been flagged off. that one has been flagged off. Then Amy is talking about the human development. The human development, people are being empowered to attend Thanksgivings. There's an empowerment.
Human capital development.
Yeah, human capital development in River State. Humans are empowered to attend Thanksgivings because since after the victory of the governor in the Supreme Court, which people have forgotten, even the lines of the judgments, even some of the opponents have traveled back to where they normally go for holiday until the next 4 years or 3 years perhaps. They'll come back to start politicking. But let me borrow the words of Nyesom Wike. Say we are on ground. We are on ground. I have not traveled from River State. Like he's saying that you have not seen anything on ground. What we are seeing is that people are all over the local governments are being, empowered to enter the buses and attend spiritual, political rally tagged Thanksgiving. And it will also continue because the one for the 1 year Thanksgiving have not started because after the marking of 1 year, we now jettison the one for the Supreme Court judgment victory, and we now focus on Thanksgiving and the empowering of the people to attend 1 year, marking of 1 year Thanksgiving of the Governor Sim Fubara-led administration in River State. That is empowerment. It's apt. Then, when you talk of the agricultural sector, which in my own thinking, I thought the governor would have scored a very high political point with it because the Rotimi Amechi-led administration has already finished the Songhai farm. What will it take the governor to have concentrated on that and let there be availability of food and, thereby bringing down the cost of foodstuffs in River State? When you talk about the former governor touched the jetty, the Bonny jetty and what, but we have not seen it being, we have not seen anything added to it. During the Oshibajo, Muhammadu Buhari's first tenure, Oshibajo came to the South-South and Southeast and interfaced with the political leaders and the opinion molders and said that they will now give room for the states to have modular refineries. And I thought that River State government would have cashed in on that. If the governor by now have signed, a contract with any firm to start building, Imo State have, and I'm very happy to hear it now that Edo State have too. Or this
Imo is even privately owned.
Yes, Imo State, at least Imo State have one. But in River State, what are we seeing? It's only politics and, fanfare. That will not help us. We want the governor to, hit the ground running. He has not hit it. We have not seen the dust being raised from the ground. So let him, let his handlers, done like Amy have, stated the 3 categories of people that are surrounding him. Let him look inward and, talk less, and let his actions and let the developmental strides he has in stock for Rivers people speak for him. As we have seen in the last administration, all the signature projects that the governor, led by Nyesom Wike, put on ground are speaking for him, even as he's not on seat. So the comparisons will come. Let the governor not be in a rush. The comparisons will come. It is not by making political sagacious statements. It is not, being faster than your shadows and making some statements to score cheap political points. But the end, we say, we justify the means. Like Amechi has come and gone. Wike has come and gone. Odere has come and gone. It is from these people you begin to score your cards and see how far you have fed. And for him to also
pick out the places he want to concentrate. Yes, Wike said it. He said that I am concentrating because he was accused of concentrating in Faga, Port Harcourt City, and the other local government, 3 local governments. He was accused. He said that if somebody else comes, let the person pick out other senatorial zone, and thought that if other people have started like that, Rivers State will not have been where it was when he came and met it. But he has come, he has, you know, put in his own effort and gone. Let us see Fubara in 4 years, what his scorecards will be. And from there, we will draw the comparisons.
Okay. Ms. Emi, very quick question, still on this. You know, the governor, in his accession, said that the accomplishments were secured within 3 months, that his administration had settled down to work. Now, do not forget, when this whole crisis started, there were concerns, you know, from different sectors in the state and different individuals who had concerns around governance. But in response, you know, the governor said that he has the red pen, you know. And now, on another occasion, the governor also came out to say there were no crises. Rivers State does not have any crisis, that he's not aware of any crisis in Rivers State. So now the governor now coming out to say that his administration just settled down to work in the past 3 months. You know, it's bringing out, it's bringing out questions that are praying for answers. The question that I want to ask you, Mr. Amy, is this. If the governor said he has the red pen, and, you know, the decisions and all whatnot is in his hands, and he's not in any way distracted, and assured Rivers people that governance will not stop. So far, in his 1-year anniversary, he has, when you look at the 1-year anniversary, he's flagging off 6 projects. He's commissioning 6 projects and flagging off 4. Would you say, you know, that the governor has, within the time frame that he said he has settled down to work, would you say he's doing well? That's one. He said he settled down within 3 months. But he said, on the other hand, there are no crises in Rivers State. What is the body language of the governor exactly? What do we believe? Because it appears that on one hand he's saying something else, on the other hand he's saying something else. What should Rivers people believe at this point?
It's leadership in Nigeria. So, you know, so many persons who have thrown themselves for public offices, there is something they are failing to understand. Probably they understand, but they just decide to jettison that very important aspect of leadership. You see, in leadership, you must work at trust. If the people trust you, even when you are doing nonsense, they will not notice it. They will think you are doing it for the good of the people. But if you are not, I tell you, even when you are doing good, the people will also doubt you if you actually, you meant well for them. And this is what is beginning to play out. I wouldn't want to style the governor that is perfidious. We try to say that the governor is now riding on 2 sides of his mouth. One, he say one today, there are crises in Rivers State. The other one, say there are no crises. And so for this, Rivers State will be very difficult for Rivers people to believe in. For me, I don't believe what Governor Sifara is saying today. Because once he say one, I will say maybe we cater himself later. So there's no need even believing in the first place, so that we'll get myself worked up. So for me, saying that the administration just started 3 months ago, and then I will ask, all the money that he has been expropriating, all the money that has been coming to the state in terms of IGR and from FAC, so do we have this money kept in somewhere now that we can access? Since governor just started 3 months ago. So what have you been doing with all this money? All these things that we have been saying. So we have Rivers State account intact until 3 months ago. So I think the governor should stop this deception and concentrate. You can't tell me governor started 3 months ago and you have been there for 1 year. You are just trying to justify certain level of failures. You see, you have nothing much to show and misuse resources, because right now, governors, particularly governors from the south are rich. They have more money at their disposal by the reason of the subsidy removal. They have more money. So I see a man who is trying to cover up or trying to play certain game on intelligence of Rivers people, because he has nothing to show to commensurate the huge sum of money. So he now saying administration started 3 months ago. meaning all these other months were wasted months, wasted resources that we can't account for. Hey, Mr. Man, stop that joke. You started administration right from the 29th of May, 2023. And you have been there, you are still there. So all these things they are saying crisis or no crisis are just means to distract and to deceive Rivers people. And that has been the character in Rivers State. I don't want to mention it, but if you go back by administration, you will see that the governors will only find a means. You say, oh, we are fighting federal government, we are fighting this. In the process of this discussion, Rivers people will turn away their eyes from the resources and focus on the fight. Oh, they are fighting. Meanwhile, the man who is saying that is fighting is getting fatter. Fatter, to the point that we now have unknown investor making investment, and everywhere will be littered with some